Hi, I'm Tatiana Ramol, and I'm excited to welcome you back to the next episode of Align with Purpose. This podcast is all about living a life that feels true to you, mind, body, and soul. We'll explore mindset transformation, manifestation, spiritual growth, and overall health, all while helping you step into your higher purpose. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about persona work and who you're trying to become and how to get there. So I'm really excited to talk about this, and let's get to it. Again, I'd love to start off the episode by just saying thank you so much for continuing to support me on this podcast journey. I know I'm releasing about one episode per year, but here we are. Life has been lifing. A lot of you might know, and if you've seen on my Instagram, I'm trying to post more on my stories and just share more about my life. I had a baby girl. Her name's Olivia, and she was born November 12th. My labor process was not easy, and I'll do a whole episode on that another time. But today I'm really excited to dive into more of a mini podcast episode. I think it's going to be shorter. We'll see. And kind of explain why I've been MIA. It's because figuring out how to be a mom and then balancing my job and still being able to have time for my passion hobby, which is this podcast and creating things, is it's interesting to figure all that out, and I'm still figuring it out day to day, but it is so important to take time for yourself. If you're a mom, even if you're not a mom, if you're just someone in a relationship, a human being, anyone, you need to take time for yourself and do the things that light you up and fill up your cup. Otherwise, you cannot show up for anyone around you, not even show up as the best version of yourself for yourself if you're not doing those things. So anyways, that's a side note. That's not even today's topic, but we are going to dive into persona work and what that means exactly. So what if I told you it's possible to embody the persona that you've always wanted? You want people to look at you and feel like you're someone who has extreme wealth. Just by looking at you, they're like, wow, that girl's rich. That girl has money. Look at her. You can change your energy and make that happen. Or let's say you want people to look at you and think, wow, she's so confident. I would love to be like her. You can change your energy and make that happen. So again, anything is possible. You want people to look at you and think, oh, wow, she's so put together. I love her look. I love this. I love that. Whatever it is, you can change your energy and make that happen based off of how you're showing up. Other people can perceive this version of you that you are wanting them to perceive you as. And also, I'm sure you've had some of those thoughts about other people at some point, like, oh, wow, they're so put together. They're beautiful. They're confident. Wow, they look like they have a lot of money. Whatever the thought is, I know you have. You're human. I've had all of these thoughts. And at one point, I personally didn't think it was possible to be like those people I looked up to, these people I was like putting on a pedestal in my mind. But I learned how to shift my beliefs, which in turn shifts my energy and shifts the way people perceive me. So it's also important, another side note, to remember that whatever you see in others, you already have within you. So the next time you think someone is beautiful, strong, creative, confident, whatever it is, just know that you also possess those qualities. And sometimes you just need to prove to yourself that you already have these traits, and your subconscious will eventually follow suit, and that will again affect the way people see you. So a mini story time. I remember younger college age Tatiana who was terrified, absolutely terrified of public speaking. I think majority of people hate public speaking, but I was just not confident, not wanting to say anything in front of a large group of people, even if it wasn't a large group of people like in a classroom. Just it could be a group of 3 people that I didn't know. I was still scared. To me, that's public speaking. So I took this public speaking class in college only because it was required, and I hated it. I mean, I learned a lot. I did learn a lot in that class, but it didn't really help me with my confidence because at that time I didn't know how to shift beliefs within myself. So I learned these tools. I learned how to create a speech within 5 minutes and present in front of the class, but that didn't change how I was showing up, and that didn't portray confidence to everyone else in the room. And I just remember thinking that some people just naturally shined in the class and they didn't care what others thought. And I just really, really wanted to be that way. I like envied that about other people. And then flash forward to a few years later when I started coaching at Orange Theory, and I was coaching a room of, 28 to 42 people at a time. Or even in my current job, we can flash forward there where I have to speak in front of an entire company and educate people on different topics. That's like a group of 80 people, and that's over Zoom, which is weird, or Google Meets. But keep in mind, my public speaking class, like going back to my college days, public speaking class was a room full of maybe 15 people, like not that many if you think about it. But to me, I was like, oh my God, this is too many people. I don't want to go in front of them. And now where I'm at, I just feel like a totally different person when I'm doing my current job, speaking in front of a ton of people, or when I used to coach Orange Theory and I was able to just turn on this whole other energy, personality, and confidence when I was coaching Orange Theory. And now I know, like, this person was always me, and I just had to shift my beliefs about myself to get there. But it was like I would go into this room, go into the lobby, do my introduction for the class, hype people up, be really motivating in the class, and I would shift to this coaching Tatiana version of myself that I was like, this isn't me. I'm shifting to be more confident, shifting to be this person that I'm not. But that's not true. That is also me. Like, I embody the confidence. I embody those qualities of motivating people, of caring about people, of showing them that they can achieve all of these amazing things in their life. Yeah, that is also me. When I thought I was like, oh, I'm putting on this act, but that was also me. And I do that in my own job right now, and I feel it more connected to that version of myself than I did when, what was that, like 7 years ago, 5 years ago at this point. All this to say, you can shift the beliefs about yourself, and that will change the way that other people perceive you. And the way you show up in a room, you can either show up by shrinking into yourself or shining and owning the room. And all that has to do is with your internal emotions, thoughts, and beliefs. So you have all of the power to shift these beliefs within yourself. You just need to start today by taking radical responsibility. I know I've said that before. I know I say that all the time on my stories, on my Instagram, but it really is the truth. I think a lot of people are stuck in this victim mindset of, I'm never going to be confident. I'm never going to have the money. I'm never going to be a successful business owner. I'm never going to get the promotion. And yeah, if you say all those things and you truly believe that, like, yeah, you're right. You're never going to get those things because you're stuck in that victim mentality. You're just in this loop, and you have the capability of pulling yourself out, changing the way you think, rewiring your brain, which will rewire your subconscious thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, which will then, push this energy out there that people will either see you as this confident person, or they see someone who's shrinking into themselves in a corner. And yes, I used to be someone that would shrink into myself in the corner, not want to be my authentic self. If you told me that I would be doing a podcast 10 years ago, I would have never believed you. I really wouldn't have. I would have been like, you're going to share your life, your emotions, your thoughts, your beliefs on things. Yeah, right. Like, we're never going to do that. We're never going to do that. What a joke. And look at me today. I don't care how people perceive me because I know I'm showing up in the way that's most authentic to me and in a way that I truly do care about helping a massive amount of people. And if this episode and all my past episodes, my Instagram, whatever it is, if I've only ever helped one person, that's still a win because it's one more person than I would have been helping if I didn't do this. And I do think that's my purpose in life is to help other people, help them be the most confident version of themselves, live a life that they're meant to live and that they've always wanted to live, and they just feel stuck. So anyway, let me get back to the episode. So it took me years to learn how to break out of my comfort zone and step into my own confidence, and a lot of trial and error. But the tools I'm about to give you will help you do this years quicker than I ever did. So that's good news. And I mean, if you take these tools and do them religiously, you'll be able to start shifting in a matter of weeks and months' time. It's about taking the time and the action to do so. So try to take something away from this episode and do it consistently. Don't just do it once and think, oh, okay, now I'm going to be confident. Tatiana said so. No, no, that's not how it works. It took you how many years of telling yourself, I'm not confident. I'm a terrible public speaker. I am ugly. I am whatever it is. These are thoughts I've had about myself. Whatever that thought is, it took you, for me, like 27 years of my life telling myself that over and over and over and over and over again. It's not just going to take one day of trying to root to these beliefs. It's going to take longer than that. But give yourself a couple weeks, a month, and see how much of a shift you make. Maybe it's 25%, maybe it's 50%, but you're still shifting and you're still changing the way people show up for you, or how people view you, I should say. One tool that I've really been liking lately it's called persona work. So think about the person that you look up to, or someone that you admire, or this version of yourself that you want to be. So whether that's someone who makes, $500,000 a year, or someone who has massive amounts of confidence and they can walk into any room and give a full TED talk if they wanted to, visualize that person and start writing a list of all of the things they're thinking, doing, saying, being, wearing, living, every single thing about that person, almost like you're writing a story about someone. So do it on your phone, do it on paper, whatever. Just write out this version of yourself that you are envisioning and that you want to be. So is this person wearing clothes that make them feel rich or confident? Is this person prioritizing their time and only spending time doing things they deeply align with? Is this person prioritizing their own self-care and mindset by moving their body in ways that make them feel good daily? Is this person thinking they have so much value just by being themselves and existing? Those are just some examples of things that I put on my list personally. So write down this list, and whenever you think of something, add to it. It's a living, breathing list. You don't need to just finish it in one go. It's going to take some time and some thought and some heart connection to it. So take that time, write a list, get it started today. That's step one. Now, the next step, which is very important, is action. So you can't just write this list. You can't just say affirmations. You can't just do one thing and assume, okay, now I'm going to attract all these things to me. I'm going to make the money. I'm going to be perceived as confident. Like, no, the second step is action. You always have to take action. So how can you start doing the things on that list that you wrote for the persona? How can you start doing that now? Can you start your day by moving your body, going for a walk, meditating, whatever it is that prioritizes your self-care? Can you do that thing? Can you also commit to appointments you make with yourself? So, example, actually showing up to those workouts when you say you will. Show up for yourself by journaling when you say you will. Don't get sucked into a random phone call, a work message, a house task, whatever it is you feel like you have to do in the moment. Instead of sticking to your commitment to give yourself that 15 to 30 minutes of self-care, I promise you it's making a bigger impact by not sticking to that thing than you realize. So stick to that scheduled time commitment for yourself. And this tool is so incredibly powerful. It's already changed my life. And I'm trying to be intentional every day before I make decisions and ask myself, would a person making $500,000 do this thing? And for example, one day, it was a couple weeks ago at this point, I was getting my nails done for one of my best friend's weddings, and shout out Sarah, by the way. She's married now since that happened a couple weeks ago. And while I was getting a pedicure, I usually just scroll on my phone or social media or whatever. But I asked myself, what would someone making $500,000 do in this moment? And in my mind, they would be using their time wisely because they value their time. And I've been wanting to record another podcast episode. I always think about it every single day. And I did write one forever ago at this point, but I just didn't feel like that was the episode I wanted to record next. And I will record it at some point. It's about ego, but I'll record that at some point. I just wanted to write something different. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, I really want to put another podcast episode out. And I've been thinking about that for months at this point. So anyway, long story longer, I used that time getting my pedicure to write this episode instead of scrolling on social media, because that is what the $500,000 person would do. And another thing that happened during getting my nails done that same time was the guy doing my nails was being so rough on my cuticles, and it felt like he was about to cut me. I'm sure this was an intuitive thought too. I was like, something is going to happen if I don't say anything. Like this is painful or borderline painful. It was just being very, very rough. And at first I was like, let me just give him the benefit of the doubt and give him another chance before saying anything. But then I thought about the persona work again, and I was like, what would someone making $500,000 do? And that person, they would feel confident enough to speak up when they're feeling uncomfortable or unhappy with a service, because time is money and they value good quality, right? So you bet they're going to say something. They're not just going to sit there and take it. So I told the guy, I was like, and I said it in a nice way. I said, hey, that's actually kind of painful. And he apologized. And then a second later, he accidentally cut my finger anyway. So either way, I was proud of myself for speaking up. And next time I'll schedule an appointment with someone I know that I like versus just walking in. So learning from that situation, the persona of someone who is making $500,000, they would have booked with their favorite person. They wouldn't have just walked in. They value their time. They wouldn't have wanted to wait, all that good stuff. Okay, to sum things up, and your key takeaways from this podcast is however you want people to see you, whether it's a confident version of yourself, whether it's, oh, this person has their shit together, this person looks extremely wealthy, whatever it is, they're a good public speaker, I don't know, whatever you want someone to view you as, you have the power to shift other people's beliefs about you. And a tool to help you do that is persona work, which we talked about in this episode. So your next step after doing this, listening to this episode, is starting a list of that person you want to be, right? Is it that $500,000 version of yourself? What lists all of the ways, all of the qualities this person has? What are they wearing? Go back, rewind this episode, listen to it back, and write down all those qualities and continue to add to that list as things come to you. The second step is action. So how can we do some of the things on that list? Can you show up in places like, let's say, $500,000 person, they would shop at Whole Foods, right? Go to Whole Foods, spend some time in that energy, buy a piece of gum, something small, whatever you can afford, or don't buy anything and just walk around, sit in the area where they like have where you can eat food, and just sit there, read a book, be in those people's energy. So those two steps, action, following through on how can I make some of these things on the list happen, and writing the list. So that's my homework for you. Let me know if you have any questions. Seriously, message me, DM me. I love to chat. My Instagram is at aligned_with_purpose. So DM me there, follow me, like, subscribe, whatever it is on this podcast. Rate me 5 stars if you enjoyed this episode. If not, just carry on along. Don't feel like you need to rate. Or if you didn't like it, honestly, feel free to DM me. We can talk about it, what you would want to see next time. And always open to feedback. And I almost forgot, the best part about these episodes is transitioning to our sip and chat segment. So we're going to switch gears a little bit. It's time for our sip and chat segment. Grab your favorite drink, relax, and let's have a fun conversation. So I'm going to take a sip of my drink here, and let's see, ASMR. Yeah, I don't think it ever records, but I do it anyway. So one of the questions I got from a listener was, who would play you in a movie? So I've been told that I look like, I don't even know her name. I should look up her name. I always forget it. But one of the girls on Pretty Little Liars, the one that played Spencer with the brown hair, I guess I could see it. I guess I could see a little bit. I think she has beauty marks where I have them. But anyway, I guess that is who would play me if I was picking my own actress or who my celebrity lookalike is. Anyway, thanks for submitting that question. And if you have any questions that you want me to answer, whether they're fun, serious, whatever the question, DM me at aligned_with_purpose for next episode. So that concludes today's episode. That concludes the Sip and Chat segment and our episode as a whole. I said this was going to be a mini episode. I guess it kind of was. I think my episodes are normally like 30 minutes long. So mini episode, first one in the books. Next time I kind of want to get it down to 10 or 15 minutes. So thank you all so much for spending time with me today. Today we talked about persona work and how you can shift other people's perceptions of you. It is possible. And I gave you some tools to work with to start implementing that into your own life. And I hope you feel inspired to take that first step in order to start shifting your life today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. You can also follow me on Instagram at aligned_with_purpose for behind the scenes moments, more tips and updates about upcoming episodes. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to DM me and let me know what you think. Next episode, I will probably go into what I was supposed to, the one that I wrote forever ago, and it is about your ego. So we're going to talk all things ego, what that means, and how it's potentially holding you back. So I hope you have a great day. Thank you again for listening, and we will chat soon.